This is the Whole Care Network, helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my beautiful friend. I'm Isabel Melgarejo, your host. Welcome to A Time to Care the Caregivers podcast. I was talking with my brothers a few days ago, and the conversation was around the clothes we wear and how long we use them. So, both my brothers were saying how they would use their clothes until they break, literally. Socks are good until the toe goes out of the sock. T-shirts are good until there isn't, like, the collars are gone and holes are, until you can find holes. Jackets the same. So once the piece of clothing breaks, that's a good time to go and replace it for a new one. We were having this conversation one way or another, and I'm linking this to something I did today. One of the things that happened was that a lot of times we don't value the clothes that we put on our bodies. These may seem very simple, very dumb, but if we don't put something that brings us a lot of energy, positive energy, we are putting ourselves down. When I was a professional organizer, I would help my clients identify those clothing items that didn't feel good, that didn't connect with them. The thing is that a lot of the times, first of all, we have a lot of clothing that we stop using. And it's not because it's not good anymore. It's just because it doesn't call to us. Those pieces of clothing don't feel good anymore. But we keep using them all the time, even though they don't feel good. I think we should change that. And I'm referring to something that I did today because one of the things for me in particular that I usually tend to oversee is pajamas or loungewear. I love PJs. I love them. They're so comfy. I love having something that feels soft and cozy when I go to sleep. So I've always loved them. I don't necessarily keep track of the quality of them. And because I feel that it's something that I only use at home and only in the evenings, it's not something that I spend money on. Yesterday, after having this conversation with my brothers, I noticed that my PJs are old, that they don't feel as great anymore. So I usually buy PJs at Costco because they're cheap. So yesterday I went to Costco and I didn't find any PJs that I liked, that felt comfy, that felt cozy. So today I went to a store and bought some PJs that spoke to my heart and that they're soft, a color that I love, and I'm really excited about that. And what I'm going with this story is that a lot of times we allow either things or people to stay in our lives for way longer than they should. We allow us to be with broken things. So we either have broken things at home, we either have broken clothes that look old or damaged, and we even have broken relationships with other people. Just because at some point those things or relationships were working, it doesn't mean that they have to work forever. We can actually determine if we want to keep those things or people in our lives. And I think right now is a very good moment to go and reflect in what we're doing. Back to school is starting. I know for some kids that's later towards the fall. Some people started their vacation time back in May. Others are just finishing school. But one way or another, back to school is coming. I think this is a great time to pay attention to the things that we like. We do that as kids. So every back to school, but my mom and I would go through my clothes, check that the uniforms and all my clothes in general were in good state. And we would declutter my closet. If I needed anything for school, this would be the time that we would go buy it and make sure that everything was ready for school. We don't do that anymore as adults. We just keep life flowing. And we never take the time to see what's going to happen. So that's why I think back to school is the perfect time for us to do this as well. And maybe you're thinking, like, I'm already paying attention to my kids' stuff. I'm already going through their shoes, their clothes, their books, all they have to get for back to school. It is overwhelming, and I don't want to do that for myself. But guess what? You are already doing it. Your brain is already in that state of mind. You're already getting rid of things that are old and replacing them with new ones. What would be the difference if you could do that for yourself? Just a little bit more time. Go through your kitchen. Are you using all your appliances? Do you even like the things that you have in your kitchen? When you sit down and eat, do you actually love the dishes that you're using? When you dress, do you feel empowered, beautiful, confident, strong? I don't know. Whatever it is, you don't need to feel the same way every single time. But if you're going to work, do you feel that you're empowered and powerful and you can make decisions and grow and be there and lead people? You want that energy. When you're going and you're caring for others, you want to be there. You want to show up as someone that loves herself first and is able to love everybody else, because first you're loving the most important person in your life, and that is you. You're loving yourself first. And your clothes should determine and should show how much you love you, how much you mean to yourself. And even though I'm talking, we allow ourselves to wear broken clothes or things that are not in perfect condition. We keep that broken vase because somebody else gave it to us. We keep things that we don't like just because we either think we're gonna need them at some point, or because someone gave it to us, or because we're too lazy to do something about it. I'm inviting you today. Spend the next 15 minutes decluttering something in your home. It can be a drawer, it can be your closet, it can be your dishes, it can be anything. But just let all of those things that are no longer useful and that don't show how much you love you go. And finally, this goes back to school. During the summer, I was sent to different summer programs and summer camps all the time. And consistently, we would go to these summer camp at museums, some friends and I. The five of us would go every summer to different museums and do different summer camps there. And funny enough, I'm still friends with one of these people. We're very good friends. We can talk about absolutely anything in life. But it was during summer that friendship grew, because otherwise we would have never talked. We would have never had any other sort of interaction. Our moms were friends, and that would have stopped there. Summer is the time in which we connect and we define who's going to be in our journey for the rest of the year until the next summer. And why does this happen in summer? Because that is the time of year in which we connect the most, in which we have time off. Not because we want to, but because that's how life happens. In the summer, all the kids are out doing their thing, and that leaves parents with the need to care for their children. And life just gets complicated during the summer. So, why not start connecting with those people and start evaluating the people that you want in your life, the people that bring energy, that are positive, that when you're with them, you feel like you could be with them all the time. Wouldn't that be fantastic? That every time that you're out with friends, you feel connected, you feel loved, you feel part of something bigger than you. That is only achieved when you pay attention to the relationships that you're building. When you pay attention to how you feel, if you feel energized, if you feel happy, if you feel positive, if you laughed, then you're doing a good job. And if you're not, who are you replacing those friends for? Where are you going to connect with new amazing people that will be there for you? How are you going to put yourself out there so you can learn from others and experience life with others? That is, I think, something wonderful that we can do. And we can start doing that today. Go ahead and let go of those things and those people that are not serving you anymore.